radiallahu anhu, he was standing up in the minbar of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam giving a khutbah. And he said, Ya ayyuhan nas, all mankind, hasibu anfusakum, judge your nafs, judge your soul, judge your spirit, judge yourself. قبل أن تحاسبوا, judge yourself before Allah will judge you. And then he said, radiallahu anhu, وَزِنُوا أَنفُسَكُمْ, and weigh yourself. What are you upon the Muslims? What have you done for your deed? Weigh yourself. Know your status. Know yourself and judge yourself before people judge you. Or before people judge you, as a matter of fact, before Allah judge you Yawm al-Qiyamah. So he said, rahimahullah, وَزِنُوا أَنفُسَكُمْ, and weigh yourself before Allah will weigh you on the scale in the day of the judgment. Because each one of us, Allah will weigh him in the day of the judgment. وَزِنُوا الْأَعْرَضِ, and then he said, radiallahu, وَتَزَيَّنُوا لِلْعَرْضِ الْأَكْبَرِ عَلَى اللَّهِ وَتَزَيَّنُوا بِالْعِبَادَةِ وَتَزَيَّنُوا بِالطَّاعَةِ وَتَزَيَّنُوا بِالْأَعْمَالِ الصَّالِحَةِ وَتَزَيَّنُوا لِاتِّبَاعِ سُنَّةِ نَبِيِّكُمْ صلى الله عليه وسلم. That's what he said, radiallahu anhu wa ardah. And he said, تَزَيَّنُوا, make yourself look good. But just physically or the outside, make yourself look good in the inside. Make your heart look good to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And then he said, radiallahu anhu, لِلْعَرْضِ الْأَكْبَرِ عَلَى اللَّهِ, the day of performance in front of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Each one of us will perform. Meaning, in the word Arabic, the one is translated that, what have you done? What are your deeds? Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala wants to see your deeds. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, that's how he's going to weigh us. One of the Prophet sallallahu alayhi wa sallam said, كلمتان خفيفتان على اللسان ثقيلتان في الميزان حبيبتان للرحمن سبحان الله وبحمده سبحان الله العظيم سبحان الله وبحمده سبحان الله العظيم. The Prophet sallallahu alayhi wa sallam said, two words. Every one of us should memorize them and know them and always say them. That's the investment. That's the big business that you're going to have with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. To make your scale heavy. Kalimatan, two words. Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam is teaching us those words. He said they are very light on the tongue. They are very light on the tongue. And they are very heavy on the scale. And Allah loves those two words. Don't we do, brothers and sisters, what Allah loves? Shouldn't we do what Allah loves? We must do what Allah loves, so He will love us. And that's why the Prophet ﷺ said, let me finish the hadith, it's Subhanallah wa bihamdih, Subhanallah al-Azim. Again, Subhanallah wa bihamdih, Subhanallah al-Azim. Always say those two words, brothers and sisters. Whenever you are, why? Because with your heart, you will say that this is the investment that I'm having with Allah. It's the remembrance of Allah. Brothers and sisters, the ni'mah of the time is a ni'mah. The khutbah today is about the time. It's about not wasting our time for nonsense. The Sahaba radiallahu anhum and the Tabi'een and the Tabi'een and the Prophet ﷺ said about them, خَيْرُ النَّاسِ قَرْنِي ثُمَّ الَّذِينَ يَلُونَهُمْ ثُمَّ الَّذِينَ يَلُونَهُمْ. The Prophet ﷺ said, the best amongst all centuries is the first century. It's my century. And then the following century. And then the following century. And those are what the scholars call as-salaf as-salih. When you hear the word as-salaf, it means predecessors. There are those three first centuries. They never wasted time worshiping Allah. One of the ulama, his name is Ibn Aqil. Ibn Aqil, he wrote a book with 800 volume book. Only been published in the public library of Damascus, in the Dahiriyah, the Maktab al-Dahiriyah. They only found 2 mujalladat. They only found 2 volumes. But they have it as makhtuta in the Maktab al-Dahiriyah in Damascus. One of the biggest bookstores in the world. One of the biggest libraries. They found 2 volumes of it. And when he wrote, when he was a student, he said, my Shaykh, meaning Ibn Aqil, that he didn't have time. He used to dip the bread in water and eat it as a cake. They say, oh, Imam, why are you doing that? Why are you dipping the bread and then eat it? He said, because the time, because I want to save my time, because between eating the hard bread and eating dipped bread, I can read 50 ayah. I can read 50 ayah in that time. That's how they think. You know, they conserve their time by worshipping Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Al-Hasan al-Basri, one of the Salaf, ulama, he said, علامة خذلان العبد أن يشغله بما لا يعنيه. علامة خذلان العبد أن يشغله الله بما لا يعنيه. He said, rahimahullah, that the khudlan of the abd, if Allah doesn't want the good for this person, He will make him busy with certain things that they will not benefit him. And how many of them out there? Or their majalis, or their sittings is about things that they do not benefit. So we have, brothers and sisters, to take it seriously when it comes to time. One of the four things, and I mentioned this hadith many times, one of the four questions Allah will ask us in the day of the judgment. Every one of us. Prophet said, لا تزول قدما عبد حتى يسأل عن أربعة. The 2 feet of each servant of Allah, they will not go away until Allah will ask him about 4 things. And one of these 4 things, besides his youth age, how did he spend his youth age? One of them is the time. وعمرك فيما أبليت. Allah will ask about your umr, about your age, meaning the time. What have you done with your time? Sitting and watching TV for hours and wasting your time not remembering Allah. Going out with friends in the mall and then wasting your time not remembering Allah. Hanging out and playing, wasting your time by not remembering Allah. And I'm not saying you cannot do that, that's haram. I'm not saying that. What I'm saying is take the advantage of worshiping Allah more. Because taking care of your body is the type of worship of Allah. Spending time with your family is the worship of Allah. But it's all again, it does have to do with the niyyah. What I'm saying is conserve your time. And make yourselves always busy by worshiping Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. With the niyyah salihah. Wal amal al-khalis. Before the hadith that I mentioned that the man asked the Prophet sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, nasi afdal, and who are the best among us, and they say that Allah has given them and blessed them with the longevity, and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, this person, He will bless him to do the good deeds. And then he asked him again, O Rasulullah, ayyul a'mali afdal? What are the best deeds, O Rasulullah? What can we do so we can make our scale heavy? So Rasulullah told him, alayhi salatu wassalam, لا يزال لسانك رطبا بذكر الله. لا يزال لسانك رطبا بذكر الله. The Prophet ﷺ is saying, your tongue is always soft with the remembrance of Allah. Your tongue always soft with the remembrance of Allah. Just remember something, subhanAllah, I was listening to it yesterday. One of the ulama of the Salaf, he went to the barber shop to cut his hair in the Umrah, and he had a little mustache. And he wanted to cut the mustache, because the sunnah is to trim the mustache. And to grow your beard. So the sheikh, the one who was going to cut him, he said, I cannot cut your mustache. I cannot trim your mustache because you're not going to stop talking. Because he was famous of always remembering Allah. He doesn't stop, subhanAllah, alhamdulillah, Allah Akbar, subhanAllah, astaghfirullah, Allah Akbar. He couldn't trim his mustache. Because he's always remembering Allah. Whenever they see him, he's remembering Allah. And that's how we should be, brothers and sisters. That's absolutely how we should be. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, what is saying in the Quran? ومن أعرض عن ذكري فإن له معيشة ضنكا ونحشره يوم القيامة أعمى قال رب لم حشرتني أعمى وقد كنت بصيرا قال كذلك أتتك آياتنا فنسيتها وكذلك اليوم تنسى. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is saying in the Quran, ومن أعرض عن ذكري. So whomever ignored my remembrance, whomever stay away from my remembrance, whomever does not remember me in this dunya, أعرض عن ذكري. فإن له معيشة ضنكا. I will give him a miserable life. ضنكا, miserable life. ونحشره يوم القيامة أعمى. And I will resurrect him in the day of the judgment blind. قال ربي لما حشرتني أعمى وقد كنت بصيرا. And this man will say, oh Allah, why did you resurrect me as blind? And I was able to see. And I was able to see and look at things when I was in the dunya. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will say, كَذَلِكَ أَتَتْكَ آيَاتُنَا. Indeed, my ayat, my signs have come to you. And it was revealed to my messenger. But you didn't pay attention to it. كَذَلِكَ أَتَتْكَ آيَاتُنَا فَنَسِيتَهَا. You have forgotten my ayat. You have forgotten my ayat. You have forgotten the signs of Allah. فَكَذَلِكَ الْيَوْمَ تُنْسَى. And indeed, in this day, you will be forgotten. You will be forgotten. meaning you will be punished and dragged to hellfire. We seek refuge to Allah from hellfire. Astaghfirullah, innahu huwa al-ghafur rahim. Seek Allah's forgiveness. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين والصلاة والسلام على سيدنا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين. روى ابن أبي الدنيا the Thawbah ibn Sammah. Ibn Abi Dunya is a big scholar of hadith in the 2nd century. He said there was a man, his name is Thawbah ibn Sammah. His name is Thawbah. The Thawbah was one of the big ulama of fiqh at that time. And Thawbah always was addressing his students to always judge themselves before they go to bed. Thawbah, rahmatullahi alayhi, may Allah bless his soul. He was judging himself one night. And he said, I reached the age of 60 years old. And Allah has blessed me with all this time to worship Him, to seek knowledge and to teach the deen of Allah, which is the best thing ever. And he said, let me calculate the days and the hours and the months. So he said, rahimahullah, please listen. Look how the Salaf, how smart they were, and how they judge themselves, and how they weigh themselves before Allah will weigh them in the day of judgment. He said, if I committed 2 sins a day, and it's 60 years, do the math. He said, it will be 21,500 sins. He said, how can I meet Allah with 21,500 sins? Look how he thinks. While he was thinking like that, فَأَغْشِيَ عَلِي وَمَاتٍ. He said he passed out. And it was a cause for him to die. Because judging himself. And he said, this is only 2 sins a day. How many sins I can commit a day? We say 1 in the day, 1 at night. And he multiplied it by the years. But the Prophet ﷺ said, اتبع الحسنة السيئة تمحوها وخالق الناس بخلق حسن. The Prophet ﷺ was giving the advice to Mu'adh. And he said, O Mu'adh, اتق الله حيثما كنت. O Mu'adh, fear Allah wherever you are. وأتبع الحسنة السيئة تمحوها. And then do the good deed, do the hasana, because the hasana will wipe the sayyah. And Allah is saying in the Quran, إِنَّ الْحَسَنَاتِ يُذْهِبْنَ السَّيِّئَاتِ. That the good deeds will wipe and wash off the evil deeds. We ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to forgive all the Muslims. We ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to guide us to the straight path. We ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to give us more knowledge in our deen. And subhanAllah, the ulama say, brothers and sisters, that al-jazaa min jinsi al-amal. Remember this qaida. Put it in your eyes, in the front, and in your heart. Al-jazaa min jinsi al-amal. That the penalty will come, it depends on the deed that you do. That's how Allah will judge you in the dunya and the akhirah. If you've done something bad for a brother and you oppress him, Allah will oppress you. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will give you the jaza for it in this dunya. And we say with our own, we say the bad karma thing, it's a bad karma. Well, it happens sometimes. You oppress a Muslim brother, you take something from him, and you beat him, talk about him behind his back. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will penalize you in this dunya and in the akhirah. SubhanAllah, I was really listening to this muhaddith from Egypt. And this story was in the book of Tariq Baghdad. And many books of Tariq and history. And its chain is authentic. It was an alim and he was a qadi. He was a judge in one of the countries of Russia. Pakistan it's called. This man was a famous scholar of hadith. This happened in the 3rd century. He was very poor and he was needy. And he was very hungry. And he hasn't eaten for 3 days. Remind me, subhanAllah, just pops out in my mind that Imam al-Shafi'i, when he was invited to Imam Ahmad ibn Hanbal to his house, and he wanted to eat the food of Imam Ahmad ibn Hanbal.